across to Malaysia, where US President Donald Trump is speaking following the signing of the Kuala Lumpur Accord between Thailand and Cambodia, an exchange witnessed by the US President in the Malaysian capital. Let's cut across right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just wanted to let you know that just a while ago, Prime Minister Anutin of Charnvirakul of Thailand and Prime Minister of Cambodia signed a joint declaration on the outcome of the meeting in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The signing, as you know, was witnessed by the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Malaysia. I wanted to point out that this document, the joint declaration, reflects the will of both Thailand and Cambodia to resolve differences peacefully. It aligns, of course, with Thailand's long-standing position to find a peaceful solution in the relations between the two countries through bilateral mechanisms and discussion. This joint declaration represents, I think, a significant milestone that outlines a pathway towards peace. I think it addresses the important issues that are outstanding between the two countries, such as the de-escalation of tension along the border, the removal of heavy weapons, the need to have demining, the importance of addressing the issue of illegal activities, particularly scam operations along the border, and also dealing with the encroachments along the border of the two countries. We also believe that what has been agreed demonstrates Cambodia's sincerity and genuine commitment to join Thailand in the path toward peace and cooperation. And I want to emphasize that full commitment and implementation of the commitments will provide the building blocks for a lasting peace. And certainly we want to take this opportunity to thank Malaysia as the chair of ASEAN and the United States for their contribution to the signing of this declaration. I think, again, I want to emphasize that the signing of this document marks an important step forward in accelerating implementation of the points that we have agreed and the points that we believe needs to be addressed, namely, as I mentioned, the withdrawal of heavy weaponry from the border areas, and also demining, dealing with illegal activities along the border, and the issues of encroachment, as well as undertaking confidence-building measures. And in this regard, I think Thailand has also, the Prime Minister announced also that once we start the implementation of these measures, Thailand is prepared to undertake the release of the 18 soldiers that have been detained by the Thai authorities. So we believe, I think, that both sides now have a shared responsibility to implement, to act on what has been agreed in order to bring peace, security to our peoples, especially those along the border, so that we can renew ties and contacts between our two peoples, especially those on the border. And so these are the points that I wanted to bring to your attention today, and if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Can I speak quickly in Thai? ครับเมื่อกี้ท่านนายกรัฐมนตรีอนุทินชาญวีรกูลนะครับก็ได้ร่วมกับท่านนายกรัฐมนตรีสุมาเล็ตแห่งกัมพูชาก็มีการลงนามในเอกสารนะครับที่เรียกว่า Joint Declaration on the outcomes of the meeting in Kuala Lumpur ระหว่างผู้นำทั้งสองนะครับก็คือคำประกาศผลการหารือระหว่างผู้นำไทยกับผู้นำกัมพูชาการลงนามก็มีประธานาธิบดีสหรัฐและนายกรัฐมนตรีมาเลเซียร่วมเป็นสักขีพยานครับคิดว่าสำหรับฝ่ายไทยในการลงนามในเอกสารฉบับนี้เป็นการสะท้อนถึงเจตนารมณ์ของทั้งสองฝ่ายนะครับที่จะแก้ไขปัญหาต่างๆด้วยสันติวิธีนะครับโดยใช้กลไกทวิภาคีนะครับการหารือทวิภาคีแล้วเอกสารฉบับนี้สำหรับฝ่ายไทยเรามองว่าเป็นการระบุถึงวิธีการที่เราจะแก้ไขปัญหาต่างๆที่เป็นอุปสรรคที่ผ่านมาต่อความสัมพันธ์เมื่อเราแก้ไขอุปสรรคเหล่านี้นะครับแล้วก็ดำเนินมาตรการที่จะสร้างความไว้เนื้อเชื่อใจระหว่างกันก็จะเป็นการนำไปสู่สันติภาพที่ยั่งยืนระหว่างประเทศและประชาชนทั้งสองนะครับประเด็นที่เราต้องการที่เราเห็นว่ามีความสำคัญนะครับที่ต่อการที่จะปรับความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างกันก็คือเรื่องของที่เมื่อกี้ที่ผมเรียนไปคือยังไงที่จะลดความตึงเครียดบริเวณชายแดนโดยเฉพาะการถอนอาวุธหนักที่อยู่บริเวณชายแดนไปสู่ที่ตั้งเดิมการดำเนินการนะครับเรื่องของทุ่นระเบิดนะครับการทุ่นระเบิดวัดทุ่นระเบิดนะครับแล้วก็เรื่องของการปราบปรามกระบวนการอาชญากรรมข้ามชาติทั้งหลายแล้วที่โดยเฉพาะกระบวนการสแกนที่เราทราบกันดีอยู่และเรื่องของการที่เราจะหาทางบริหารจัดการปัญหาในพื้นที่นะครับก็คือเป็นการลุกล้ำเข้ามานะครับในเขตของอีกฝ่ายหนึ่งนะครับเราก็หวังว่าทั้งสองฝ่ายจะดำเนินการด้วยความจริงใจและอย่างจริงจังในการปฏิบัติตามมาตรการเหล่านี้นะครับก็เป็นที่น่ายินดีว่าเมื่อกี้ในคำกล่าวของนายกรัฐมนตรีกัมพูชาคุณมาเลยท่านก็บอกว่าในส่วนของกัมพูชาก็พร้อมครับที่จะเริ่มดำเนินการในเรื่องของการปรับลดอาวุธหนักบริเวณชายแดนนะครับซึ่งเป็นเฟสแรกนะครับเราก็ยินดีนะครับที่ได้ยินคำประกาศนี้จากท่านนายกรัฐมนตรีกัมพูชานะครับเพราะฉะนั้นสิ่งที่อยากจะเน้นก็คือว่าเราอยากจะเห็นการดำเนินการนะครับทั้งสองฝ่ายนะครับในมาตรการต่างๆที่เราได้มีการตกลงกันนะครับแล้วก็เชื่อว่าหากมีการดำเนินการในมาตรการเหล่านี้ความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างประเทศทั้งสองก็จะกลับสู่ภาวะปกตินะครับแล้วเราคงจะเริ่มมีการพูดคุยในเรื่องของการปรับความสัมพันธ์กันต่อไปนะครับขอสรุปประเด็นสำคัญเท่านี้นะครับ Any questions, please?
We'll take about 5 questions. Gentleman with the microphone, please introduce yourself first.
Thank you, Princess Anne Conley from The Economist. I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit more in detail the process and the order of the process that'll take place now. The Prime Minister has said that you will begin the process of releasing the 18 Cambodian soldiers. Are there specific things that Cambodia needs to do to unlock that process, and are they stipulated?
Well, I think those things, or what needs to be done, are being done already. The commanders, the regional commanders of the armed forces.
Okay, we're now joined by Shruti Dasgupta. She's an international affairs expert, and she joins us live from New Delhi to discuss this further. Shruti, this happened quite a few months ago now. The deaths of over 40 people occurred from, some call it a skirmish. Trump called it an unendable war, one of his 8. Trump is in attendance, of course, having just spoken. Does this give him true credibility to one of these conflicts that he has ended, given his presence there, given those 2 leaders who were once fighting each other, which ended up in fatalities? They're now shaking hands at a press conference, speaking with one another.
Well, in his way, Trump has ensured that the optics of his peace deals and his projection of the peace precedent image is given due credence by being there to get these people to sign their deals. Cambodia, I also believe, has had nominated Trump for the Peace Prize after the hostilities had ended. So in his way, he has tried to ensure that the right check boxes are ticked. He's there to sign the peace deal. These precedents were made to sign, were there in his office also, I believe, at some time, with all the photo ops happening, and they have given him due credit, both of them. What they gained out of it was probably a better trade deal, probably lesser tariffs, probably access to resources. Whether this skirmish is permanently ending or whether it is just a temporary pause is something that we'll have to wait and see, because the fight for that particular temple and that land around it has a larger history which goes way beyond Trump and his regimes. And it cannot be solved just by making them shake hands and sign a deal, because such deals have been signed earlier as well and they have been violated time and again also. So until and unless the historical cause of the entire skirmish is addressed and the 2 nations and the people behind those 2 nations and their leaders are able to come to terms with the deal that they are inking, the peace is temporary at best.
Yes, and Shruti, Donald Trump has hailed his methodology of using trade pressure to end this skirmish, conflict, whatever you call it. Does that show that this truly works, that tariffs is a good means to end conflicts like this, particularly, of course, when they come from the largest economy in the world?
Well, I think he wants the world to believe so. He wants his supporters to believe so. He's trying to project it to his government, to the Supreme Court, to show that tariffs are legal, because the Supreme Court of USA has told him that his tariffs are, should have been at 179, 180 days at max, because they are an extension of the emergency powers that he's supposed to be executing. Otherwise, tariffs of any sort need a proper process through the 2 houses of Senate, and which they have not gone through. They are particularly an extension of his emergency powers and a misuse of his emergency powers. And the Supreme Court has directed him to kind of review them and have them go through the proper legal process. So in a way, to kind of justify his use of tariffs to control the narrative of his nation and the world geopolitics, Trump wants to show that tariffs have ended wars, but they haven't. What they have done is put pressure on minor economies to bow to the bully in the park, which is the USA under Trump's regime. And sooner or later, somebody will buck the bully, probably China, India, and Russia. They're doing it pretty effectively by by not bowing to his tantrums of tariff. So not effectively, but what it does do is put pressure on minor economies, and it's not fair to anybody. These are not fair world practices unless he does it to himself. Would it be okay if the world starts putting tariffs on USA for what it's doing to Venezuela? Or would it be okay if some other nation starts using tariff as well? What if it becomes a global mantra of putting pressure? Where will this end then? What if Russia starts putting tariff on the EU nations? They'll have to pay more for the same gas and oils that they've been exempted from US for. So it's a very dicey game he tends to play, thinking that he tends to be in a position of power which cannot be contested by anybody in the world. But if the coin is flipped, USA will find itself in a very, very tough spot.
Yes, Shruti Daskupta, do stay with us. We have, that was the Thai Prime Minister speaking that we just heard about this historic Kuala Lumpur Accord between his country and Cambodia. But let's move over to President Trump's views on the accords that have just been signed.
Well, this is so exciting because we did something that a lot of people said couldn't be done, and we saved maybe millions of lives on this one peace deal itself. And I'll tell you what makes me so happy is the two countries we're dealing with, and the third that helped so much, I appreciate so much. Maybe it couldn't have been done without you, but they really like each other. I'm not used to that when I do these deals. Usually there's a lot of hatred. They liked each other. So it made it a little bit easier. But millions of people are alive today because of this peace treaty. So before I begin, I want to extend our deepest condolences to the Prime Minister, Anutin, as well as His Majesty, the King of Thailand, and the entire nation on the passing of Her Majesty, Queen Sirikhet, the Queen Mother, and a beautiful, incredible woman who is so respected all over the world, actually respected. I know the people of Thailand will remember her forever as the embodiment of dignity, kindness, and grace. This just happened. But this is a woman who was so loved and respected. Today we honor the memory by bringing the blessing of peace to the nation she dearly loved. She loved this nation like few people love their nations. This is a momentous day for all of the people of Southeast Asia as we sign a historic agreement to end the military conflict between Cambodia and Thailand. And we're so honored to be involved in that. It was so important to me. Two great countries, but they were going at it. I want to congratulate the two courageous leaders, and that's what they are. They were courageous, who are taking this monumental step. Prime Minister Hun Manet and Prime Minister Anutin. I also want to thank Prime Minister Anwar of Malaysia. I called him right at the beginning, and I said, you know, you have two countries that are fighting right next to you. We need a third place. We need a sort of a neutral place, right? And he was there, and I said to him, you know, if we get this solved, I'm coming to your country. And I told the truth, didn't I? A lot of times they say that, and that's the last you ever see. But I felt I had an obligation to come because you were so great, and the two men alongside of you are so great. Historic figures now, really historic figures. So I felt it was an obligation I had. I told it to you. That was about a year ago, and all of this has taken place. It's been so beautiful to see. It had started, and there was a lot of killing. And then when we got it stopped very quickly in this case. Some we did in 32 years. It took 32 years to get them stopped. They were fighting for a long time. This was very nasty, but it was stopped very quickly before it started. And the two leaders have great respect for each other. But the Prime Minister played a very important role in helping convene the two sides for discussions here in Kuala Lumpur. Earlier this year, an armed clash broke out along the border of these two countries, really ancient countries by most standards. They've been long time, tremendous cultures, resulting in numerous deaths and thousands and thousands of people displaced from their homes. It was starting. Because of America's strong commitment to stability and peace in this region and every region where we can do it, my administration immediately began working to prevent the conflict from escalating. I held phone calls with both leaders. I was actually at Turnberry in Scotland when I did this. And we had a lot of phone calls, the three of us and then the four of us. We had a lot of phone calls. It was a beautiful day. I remember how beautiful it was. Turnberry is a great place, but I said, this is much more important than playing around the golf. So we sat there all day long making phone calls, and it was amazing the way it came together very quickly. I mean, really very quickly. You caused me very good entertainment. I could have had a lot of fun, but this is much more fun for me than anything having to do with almost anything, because you're saving people and saving countries. But ask them to choose the path of prosperity and peace over needless bloodshed and war. At the end of July, after extremely productive discussions, we reached a ceasefire agreement. And now these gentlemen, and they really are gentlemen, high-quality people, both went to college in the United States, and now these gentlemen are about to sign what we're calling the Kuala Lumpur Peace Accords. Good name.